Hello everyone, my name is Rick van Bruggen from Neotechnology, and here we are again recording another podcast episode. Today I'm joined by, I think it's the first Canadian that I have on this podcast, Dave Bennett from Nulli. Hi Dave.
Hey Rick, thanks for having me. This is great.
Yeah,
It's good to be the
thank you
first
for
Canadian.
exactly. Thank you for joining me. You're in Calgary, right?
I
In
am,
Canada.
yeah,
Yep.
Calgary, Alberta, Canada.
Yeah.
So situated sort of west side of Canada on the eastern slopes of the Rocky Mountains.
Yeah, well, everyone knows the Calgary Olympics, or at least from my age.
Right.
So Dave, maybe you can just quickly introduce yourself to our audience here. Who are you? What do you do? What's your relationship to the wonderful world of graphs?
Yeah, absolutely. My name's Dave Bennett, and I started out as a HR payroll benefits developer, many years ago. And that sort of quickly morphed into identity and access management world. And through many acquisitions and different sort of paths taken, I ended up doing implementation of ForgeRock IAM platform. And anyways, one day it struck me that there was evolving NoSQL options, and I sort of cottoned on to the graph and thought the graph was really the most applicable NoSQL database for identity management applications. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, this is a topic that's close to my heart, right? I spent at least 10 years in that industry myself, working for Novell and Imprivata and Korean. So we have a lot of in common there, I think.
Oh yeah, we do. No, I definitely. When I reached out to you a few years ago, I was immediately like, wow, this is small world stuff.
Yes, it is absolutely. So how does the world of identity and access management? I'm losing my tongue here. How does that relate to graphs? Do you think why is it so applicable?
Well, I think we're always after how things are related to each other, and more with the identity being so important and integral to decision making. Having more relationship-based data and be able to sort of quickly navigate it allows us to sort of make informed decisions about things we couldn't necessarily do before. And so I think being able to maintain data, in the graph, and then query it for authorization decisions in particular, is very powerful in terms of the world of identity management.
Yeah, yeah.
It's sorry, we
No.
naturally
Yeah.
go ahead.
Sorry about that, Dave. No, but how does it fit into things like ForgeRock and stuff like that? I've seen some of your presentations from Graph Connect, actually. But there's like a clear link between some of those IAM products, right?
Well, there is, yeah. So ForgeRock platform sort of supports. There's about four main products. There's the OpenDJ directory server, and which is a primary identity store for just core identity. And then there's the OpenAM product, which is a access management product. So we're doing all kinds of federated access, you name it. And OpenIDM product, which is for generally provisioning access and workflows. And then there's the OpenIG gateway, and all of these four products kind of work in conjunction with one another for solving identity-related problems. But the one thing the core to all of them is the extensibility. They're all very open to extension, and they're all Java-based applications. So being able to write plugins that run inside the servers themselves that connect to Neo is very, very easy. It's a way of quickly extending what the platform is capable of doing from a graph perspective.
So does ForgeRock actually, or can you make ForgeRock actually make authentication authorization decisions based on Neo4j graphs, or is it?
Oh
Is
yeah.
that? Oh, you can. Okay. I
Oh,
didn't know that.
definitely. So definitely. So the ForgeRock OpenAM platform, there's a basically the authentication and authorization pieces are all, extensible.
Okay.
Very, very easily writing your own, Java plugins as well. If you don't want to write, native Java stuff, you can write scripted connectors in JavaScript and Groovy. So with the new Bolt protocol, you could easily use a JavaScript scripted connector if you wanted to, and use that to write a policy plugin. We actually have a plugin that we created, a policy condition plugin that accepts basically a cipher query, and the authenticated user and the requested resource as sort of parameters, and will go make that cipher query over the REST endpoint.
Interesting.
Against a graph, and we're rewriting that to use Bolt right now.
And does that then allow you to do like more complex authorization decisions, or is that the main advantage there, or
that
is
is definitely the goal, is to basically use relationships and make more complex decisions. And you can do things in a graph that aren't very easily attainable in a traditional SQL database or LDAP, right? Like, and kind of an n-depth query is achievable in SQL, right? But you end up with these sort of massive self joins, which quickly lose steam and fall kind of on their face. Whereas those are very simple, even from Cipher perspective, queries, right? And in LDAP, that stuff just is again also achievable. It's just it becomes successive subsequent queries with lots of round trips and lots of post processing to follow all the relationships. So it provides a certain level of flexibility, and where there's complexity, you can get past the complexity with the graph.
Yeah, so I think you're already answering my follow-on question there a little bit, which is, what's so cool about graphs in this context, and why is it so powerful? Is it about that complexity, flexibility that I'm hearing, or are there any other topics that you think are more important?
Oh no, I think it is definitely about the complexity and flexibility. Certainly, and where we are going with identity management and the path we're on right now, we are. Especially with the Internet of Things, I mean, this stuff's all sorting itself out right now.
Sure.
And it's still early days. But the one thing I think we can all agree on is the complexity of things, and having to share data, or pieces of data from one identity to another identity. Every connected device has its own identity, and there are many different interested parties that are after that data. So securing that data is going to be essential, and I think the way of securing that data is going to be founded upon sort of a myriad of relationships that are going to have to be able to be digested in a meaningful time frame. Mm-hmm. I think the graph is going to be critical to solving those problems.
Absolutely, yeah. Again, you're already answering my final question, so to speak, which is where is this thing going? These evolutions that we're seeing with Internet of Things and stuff like that, that just begs the question, how do I manage access at scale in real time with a very complex network of devices, people, all of those things, right?
That's exactly it. I think where we're going is, a more complex relationships than we've ever sort of deemed imaginable before. And the way we're going to be able to explore and continue to sort of make sense of this stuff is the only way is through graph database. And so then the graph database by itself, though, can represent all these things, but it still has to be maintained, and it still has to then be used by something to enforce policy. Yep. And that's where coupling it with the ForgeRock platform in my mind makes the most sense. It's taking two products that by themselves are great and great at doing what they do and making something even better at the end of the day, through both products' extensibility, right?
Absolutely.
The openness of the ForgeRock platform, and the ability now with the transactional endpoint prior, but now with the Bolt protocol, really made accessing graph data so easy. So
That's great to hear, and I think on that bombshell, I think we'll wrap up this episode of the podcast, Dave. I really want to thank you for coming online and speaking to us about that, and we'll put some more links to ForgeRock and also your talks about this, your work around this. On the blog post that we publish afterwards as well. So thanks a lot for doing that, and all the best.
Yeah, thanks, Rick. Thank you for having me. I had a great time.
Talk to you soon.
Take care.
Bye.